Okay, this is Magistrate White, December 25th, 2023, 9:41 a.m., Frank Murphy Hall of Justice. Please identify yourself.
Detective Sergeant Michael Gondek with the City of Dearborn Heights.
Okay, raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, are you testifying based on your personal knowledge or that of someone else?
Someone else, Your Honor.
Okay, who is that?
Sergeant Stevens wrote the report, testifying from a compilation of his reports and other officers' reports from that date.
Okay, this is a probable cause hearing for Dakota Neal Hallinan, also known as Dakota Hallinan, charged with count 1, controlled substance, possession of methamphetamine and ecstasy, count 2, police officer fleeing 4th-degree vehicle code, count 3, operating while license suspended, revoked, denied, and there's a felony commission with a motor vehicle adult advisory. All right, go ahead with your testimony.
On December 22nd at approximately 12:35 in the morning, Dearborn Heights Police Sergeant Joe Stevens observed a black 19 GMC Terrain stopped in the middle of the roadway at Bayham and McDonald. Sergeant Stevens began to follow the vehicle as it proceeded through a subdivision, making numerous turns without signaling. The vehicle then turned to northbound Beach Daly Road, where it crossed the center line into oncoming traffic. Sergeant Stevens activated the emergency equipment on his patrol unit and attempted to stop the GMC. The GMC failed to stop and turned leftbound onto Lehigh, accelerating to approximately 68 miles per hour in the posted 25 mile per zone. The GMC continued to weave through the neighborhood, disobeying numerous stop signs and reaching speeds as high as 80 miles per hour. In the area of northbound Princess and Yale, the GMC extinguished its lights and Sergeant Stevens lost sight of the suspect. Within a very short period of time, other units responding to the Sergeant Stevens located the vehicle northbound on Beach Daly. Sergeant Stevens had taken a different route and was at Michigan and Beach Daly, blocking traffic as the pursuit proceeded northbound on Beach Daly. The GMC passed within 30 feet of the front of his vehicle, and he was able to clearly see the white male driver of the GMC vehicle. The units continued to pursue the vehicle until E-course the middle belt, where they lost sight of it, and the pursuit was terminated. One of the Dearborn Heights officers was working in an undercover capacity and heard the pursuit and was advised of the registered owner of the vehicle's address. He and his task force took up positions in the area, and a short time later observed the suspect vehicle arrive. Officer Barber observed a lone white male occupant exit the vehicle, and upon identifying himself as a police officer, the suspect fled on foot. When Officer Barber took the suspect into custody, he was able to recover an Apple AirPod box, which contained a substance which he suspected to be methamphetamine. The driver was identified as Dakota Hallinan, and he had made comments that he had run from the police because he had just purchased narcotics in the area. Sergeant Stevens made the location and positively identified Mr. Hallinan as the driver that had passed in front of him at Michigan Avenue, Beach Daly. I tested the suspected narcotics the next day with the TrueNarc device, and they tested positive at suspected methamphetamine.
You have any testimony regarding his license being suspended or revoked?
Yes, lien check of his driving status showed that his driver's license had been revoked.
Okay, all right, thanks.
And that is that person. Okay. All right. Is there anything else you want to add or correct?
Yeah, I received it. Yeah.
Just, Your Honor, that if the subject is given a personal bond, I don't believe he's going to show up for court. He has 12 outstanding warrants in other jurisdictions at this time. I believe he will fail to appear.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to add or correct regarding the probable cause?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Court finds that probable cause has been established. This is going to be signed. All right. And do you have him available?
I do. Mr. Hallinan?
All right. Just give me 2 seconds.
Said a little more to your left.
I'll be right there. Okay, sir, what's your name, please?
My name is Dakota Hallinan.
All right. This is case number 822-3728-3360, people of the state of Michigan versus Dakota Neal Hallinan. Counsel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Ryan Murad, PA 3665. On behalf of Mr. Dakota Hallinan, we waive the formal reading. Mr. Hallinan stands mute to the charges. He's been advised of his constitutional rights.
Okay, first going to enter a not guilty plea on his behalf. Is there anything else to bond?
Yes, Judge. I'd like the court to know that Mr. Hallinan is 27 years old. He indicates that he's a life resident here in the state of Michigan, where he shares a stable residence with both parents in Canton. Judge, he does have 3 children. He wants the court to know that he does have gainful employment at Gus's Fried Chicken. Additionally, he indicates that he anticipates starting at Henry Ford next semester. His income is around $1,200 a month, putting him within the poverty guidelines, especially when it comes to supporting any dependents. Judge, he does indicate that he's unable to afford a monetary bond. He's a high school graduate of Canton. He does take some medication. Your Honor, I did talk with Mr. Hallinan at length. He was very forthright about those warrants that Sergeant did mention. It is something that he does want to take care of. I understand, though, that he has not taken care of them. I had a chance to peek at some of them. I don't see any felonies, Judge. I don't see anything assaultive. I'd ask the court to still consider personal bond. This is a non-assaultive case. I think maybe a no driving provision would be appropriate in this particular matter. No possession of any controlled substances. The court also has methods of testing that it can use here. But I just ask the court not to send Mr. Hallinan over to the county on this matter, to consider giving him a personal bond. And I know that those jurisdictions could pick him up on those misdemeanor warrants if that's what they want to do. But I think he's been in for over 48 hours. I've talked to him at length about a plan going forward. There's certain programs that these courts offer that I think he wants to lead himself into. I think it's going to be very helpful to him. So for those reasons, Judge, I'm going to ask the court to consider personal bond, no driving, no drug use, and the court maybe using its testing powers as well.
Okay. Sergeant, you indicated that you are aware of 12 outstanding warrants. Are these warrants where he failed to appear in court?
Yes, Your Honor, there are failed to appear warrants.
Okay. Do you have any knowledge of any prior criminal history or any current probation status?
It appears that he's on probation with the 18th District Court for possession of marijuana. As far as his criminal history, it appears to be very lengthy. I haven't reviewed it.
Okay. It appears lengthy. Just at a brief glance, do you see any felony convictions?
Receiving and concealing stolen property less than $200, pled guilty, Your Honor. Brandishing firearm, pled guilty.
That's missed.
Okay.
All missed.
All right. All right. Court has reviewed the investigator's report, has also heard from the defense counsel as well as Sergeant. Sir, let me start by saying you are to no drugs at all. You are not to consume, purchase, possess, sell any drugs at all. There will be no driving during the pendency of this matter until you've been told otherwise by another judge. So the court does find two things. One, that you present a danger. The testimony was, and I read in the investigator's report, that you were driving at one point 68 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour zone. Speeds got up to 80 miles per hour in a residential neighborhood. Residential neighborhoods are 25 miles an hour. You put a whole community in danger. And the court takes that very seriously. The court has also been made aware that you have at least 12 outstanding warrants, many for failure to appear. So the court does see you as a flight risk. Court is going to set your bond, sir, in the amount of $2,500. This is going to be a cash bond. You have a probable cause date of January 10th, preliminary exam date of January 17th at 9:00 a.m.
There's no 10%.
Wait,
Okay,
1 second. Let me do that.
The court has taken into consideration the information presented by counsel regarding your family and community ties, as well as employment status as it relates to your ability to post bond. Having taken all of those things into consideration, including the fact that you have these outstanding warrants for failure to appear, the court is going to set your bond.
Judge, when appropriate, if I may.
Go ahead.
Judge, I understand the court's deliberation, and I think that the most weight here goes to flight risk. I think with the no driving provision, the court handles anything on the road, especially the court can impose house arrest tether, which I think also addresses flight risk. Now, I understand the PD's request for a cash bond. I understand the court wanting to impose a cash bond. I'm just going to ask the court to do something sort of in between. I'd ask the court to make that a 10% provision with house arrest GPS tether. Under those circumstances, Your Honor, he would at least have the fact that he's to be in his own home. The Wayne County's prosecutor's office would be monitoring his whereabouts, and he couldn't get into a car because he'd get arrested for even leaving his house. I think under that route, Judge, the court addresses each one of its concerns even better than the cash bond. Because if he just posts that cash bond, the court doesn't have the same assurances as the $250 that you'd have to come out of on top of the house arrest tether. So would the court consider a course of action like that?
Well, actually, the court was considering the GPS tether as well, just hadn't gotten around to say it yet. So the court is going to impose that as well. What did you just tell me about his employment?
Judge,
I know he was working.
Yeah.
I know he was working, but where was that?
Is that Gus's Fried Chicken?
Gus's famous fried chicken.
It's actually one of our Friday favorites, Your Honor. But he makes around $1,200 a month. And I know that he does have 3 children. And he does not receive government assistance.
Okay, what are the days and hours of his employment?
May I voir dire?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hallinan, I'd like you to only answer these questions, sir. Tell me the days of the week you work and the hours of the week you work.
I work part-time, usually from probably 2 until 8 to 2 until 9 on Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Is that what you said?
Yeah, 2 to 8, 2 to 9, depending on how many dishes I have to do.
Okay. So the court is actually going to impose a GPS tether as well. However, you will be allowed to go to work. But sir, you cannot drive to work.
Understand? Do I have to present cash to get the GPS
Wait,
tether?
sir, one second, sir. Let the
Yes,
magistrate.
yes, sir. Okay, so yes, the answer to your question is yes. The cash bond provision
But you said you can't.
remains. You will be able to go to work on the GPS tether. Other than that, other than work, you must be in the house. Obviously, if you have court dates, you have to go to your court dates. You can go to your court dates. That's not a problem.
I'm gonna have trouble coming up with that cash to get out.
Sure,
So.
sure,
All right,
sure.
sir. Don't say anything else. Don't say anything else, please. The attorney is representing you quite well.
Okay.
Okay. That's it.
Oh, Judge, I'm sorry. Would the
Go
court
ahead.
be willing to impose the 10% provision or anything lower?
No, the bond remains the same, $2,500 cash, no drugs, no driving, GPS tether, you may go to work Monday through Friday, giving you an hour extra each way, an hour to get there, hour to get home.
And Your
All
Honor,
right, you can step away from the camera, sir.
But Judge, briefly, we do appreciate that bond, but the tether and the work hours and those restrictions become moot because that 2,500. I mean, he can't afford it. Is there any way we could do any bit of a decrease to give him a chance?
No, the court does find that he is a danger to the community as well as a flight risk. 12 outstanding warrants for non-appearance in court gives the cause. But the court also finds that he's a serious danger to the community. 80 mile per hour, driving 8 miles per hour in a residential neighborhood, the court just sees that as a danger. So that's the court's decision. Thank you very much. Sir, you can step away from the camera.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.